So now we'll take some Q&A from this last session. If the folks who were speakers could come and sit up here, that would be great. And we have one question already. I will.
Hello? Okay. I'm so sorry, I'm already forgetting of the names, but I wanted to ask about ICV port. So the position, the way you described the way you showed it in the picture, is that position fixed? Like, is there a reason it has to be that way? Like maybe shortest path to the key location? The reason I'm asking is, my son, I mean, one of the important tests he had to do was the spinal tap, which is also CSF. So I was curious if that's also another way, because yeah, even though I'm glad you showed this picture, I had this terrible image in my head, what porting is and what will the life be if there's something continuously plugged in. But I was just curious in terms of the positioning of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we have done intrathecal enzyme administration into the CNS, where a port is placed lower on the ribs in the back, and then a catheter is sort of tunneled into the thecal sac that runs along the spine. That worked. The problem with that this was for an MPS disorder where there could be tightening in the cervical spine, and that could impede the flow of the CSF. And you want to be sure that you're getting drug into the brain tissue. So getting it closer into the ventricles is, more direct. One thing that with Bronero we found that these ports sometimes failed, and we would replace them with a chest port. I don't know if people are familiar with metaports for intravenous infusions, but those ports, they're easier to access, and but it's not standard of care, so you need a team to work with you who are willing to do that, and it probably would not be incorporated into any study protocol. Not that this is particularly standard of care, but at least it's better known.
In line with his question, I know how important it is to cross that blood-brain barrier. How about treating the rest of the body? Does it cross that blood-brain barrier down to, for example, the liver and various other parts of the body that also can be affected by the disease?
The dose that you could administer to the brain, the volume is pretty small. You don't have a lot of volume that you can work with. So there is some cross, but I think if you really want to get a systemic effect, you need to do both or have a very good intravenously administered enzyme that has been modified so it can cross the other way. I don't know if anybody.
I can say something. Yeah. When we gave the mice ICV ERT, we found that we could normalize beta-gal activity in the brain, but also in the liver. And that's because the ICV fluid, as I understand it, is recycling constantly through the day. I think in humans it's 6 or 8 times a day, but there is this continual exchange of the ICV fluid. So you will get some spillage going into the, into the other organs, but I think to your point, beta-gal can degrade, so you want to make sure it's going to quickly get taken up by systemic organs as well.
I think we had one more question.
I was just curious with the kids with the ports, how careful do they have to be? Is it similar to other ports, but just in their head? Like how dangerous, I guess, in terms of daily living?
Who wants to take this one?
Yeah, right. For our kids, I mean, they can be very active kids, but I think the positioning where it's up on more on the top of the head, it is more protective than if it were on the back or the side, where it might get hit more. You know, you're less likely to get hit on the top of the head.
I just want to add too, regarding the comment about a lumbar port, that because of, that more superficial presence and where it's located, and, these patients can have more frequent falls, that these are more likely to become problematic. And I've definitely had patients that have had them where they've broken on multiple occasions because of activity. But the ones that are ventricular are very stable, and we've used them in oncology with patients where they have them in place for many, many years, and they do great without any restriction on activity.
Okay, so thank you. We're going to wrap up this session now, and we're going to take a 5-minute break. So we'll be back in 5 minutes.